So I'm kind of confused.
So we're actually live on YouTube right now too.
Oh, we are?
Yeah. I just hooked that up. You were looking at that and I'm like, yeah, just now I'm like, we'd forgotten to do this. And
I kind of figured.
And so I was going to look at the screen sharing thing and I was like, oh, I forgot the live on YouTube thing.
I told you about that.
Yeah, you did.
Click of a button.
Totally did. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
So I researched it. I researched it.
Nice.
So now we're
live and live.
We are live right now.
So it's going to YouTube too.
It's happening on YouTube right now.
Well,
so we're talking about Antifa and fascism. So
we were talking about all this weird, craziness that's going on. We were trying to figure out what part, how it's all tangled up together, and is it all tangled up together? Is it all connected? Is COVID connected with the Floyd thing somehow? I mean, I was kind of saying, like, I feel like, and I can't get away from this, that, you know, it has something to do leading up to the election that's coming up.
Well, there's also another piece in there where Obamagate, whatever that is, that trial started this last week. Hillary Clinton's emails was another thing.
I heard about this. Yes, Hillary Clinton's on trial, right?
She's on trial right now.
Yeah.
And you
don't hear anyone talking about that.
Nothing. Yeah. And all of a sudden things with Bill Gates have gotten a little quiet, and however, he's gotten elected or nominated to be now the leader of WHO or the president or whatever that is. Yeah. And so that's going on. Mm-hmm. What else? Like the FDA is getting sued by an organization. I can't remember what group it is, but the FDA is getting sued right now for restricting the availability of hydroxychloroquine, whatever that is, that stuff that Trump's been taking. Hydroxychloroquine, yeah. Mm-hmm. So there are all these little side stories and stuff going on. But, the thing that in all of this, the fascinating thing is there's so much happening, and there's such a spin on every little nugget of information that's out there that I know for me, and I have to assume that there are many other people in the same boat, where you have a certain congruence of thought, or you're used to thinking a certain way, or used to like, this is what I believe, and this is where I stand, and so on and so forth. And you're used to hearing 2 or 3 sides to an issue and going, this is where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Where we're at right now, it's hard to land on anything.
I think that's because you don't know what is true.
You don't know what's true. There's no way to know.
Like I was saying, there's so much true spin and so much conspiracy delusion and so much what was the other word? The disinformation and I mean, I want the truth.
Yeah. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Yeah. So I mean, this is such a fascinating time to be alive in the middle of all this.
Right.
And it's crazy because just in my own experience with this too is I've found myself landing in a certain place, in a certain belief pattern because of something I've read, and then saying something to a friend or expressing an opinion here or expressing it there, only to a day or two later read something that totally contradicts what I had said, and I find myself thinking about it in a whole different way. Maybe not in a completely different way, but with a different sort of spin. So like just observing my own evolution through what I think is going on has been a roller coaster.
Yeah. Right.
Has been a roller coaster. And so, and so if you're a person that has to have their opinion and have it so solid.
Yeah.
I think this time right now would be hard right now. I think that sounds like a lot of work.
That sounds like that would be hard work.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the information
right?
that's out there.
I mean, what do you do?
You know, like, yeah, how do you sift through what is, I don't know, people just, there's all sorts of stuff that you can listen to and watch, and people talking very seemingly like very intelligently about it and very certainly about what their view or what their angle on everything is. You know, but other people, I get myself in trouble. It's like other people have their own, have their own angle, and this angle is totally conspiracy craziness, and like,
well,
I don't know. I used to, I certainly liked, I was on the, like, I like Obama train, at one point. Now I hear these other guys talking about how you mentioned Obamagate or whatever, like how the Democrats are sort of like part of the deep state, and the deep state is, don't want Trump in there, and they're trying to control us. And so,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I really don't. And I've, even it's so interesting, even with Trump, because, the whole time he's been in there, I remember watching him get elected and was just like, I was depressed. I was just depressed. Like, and I didn't want Hillary either. Good Lord.
No.
In fact,
she seems scary.
She is.
Those guys,
scary.
She seems scary.
She terrifies me. I
don't even know why, but she seems scary.
Yeah, I think I keep waiting for a tail to fall out of her skirt or something. Like, yeah, but I remember the whole thing with Trump. Right away, I was like, well, actually, at the first few months, I was kind of like, okay, this guy is just here to destroy the system. Like, this guy is here just to break everything down. Like, to just show the ugliness of humanity to humanity itself. Like, he's just going to be the joker, the fool that like the king with no clothes that has no idea he has no clothes on.
Trickster.
And I went from that to, at different times I've seen him do different things, and I'm like, wow, this guy's kind of a badass. He's kind of a badass with some of the stuff he's doing.
Kind of badass
and then,
quality, yes.
Because he just doesn't give a shit. Like, he's just like, this is what I'm doing. I don't care. Yeah, I grabbed a woman by the hoo-ha or whatever.
Yeah,
he just says and does things that just boggle your mind, right? And he's done a few things. I'm like, well, this guy's a total badass. And then he turns around and does something, does the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, he tweeted about this 75-year-old guy getting pushed over and was like, hey, he needed it. It's kind of like,
oh,
what?
really? I saw that video of that guy getting pushed over.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen that video.
He hit his head,
but Trump was like,
blood
I think
spilling out of his head immediately.
Trump was like, yeah, he pretty sure he was Antifa. He was something about an anti-recording device or something like that. I was like, you can't be serious, dude.
Yeah.
Like, where do you?
I mean, I can understand there's a part of that quality that you can admire because I feel like myself, like I want to be. There's a part of me that wants to be politically correct, and there's a part of me that doesn't want to, that thinks things, that would say things that would totally offend. A part of me is like worrying all the time about being politically correct or being being not offensive, and there's it seems like maybe there's some freedom and to be a guy who's actually up in front of the whole world like that, and to just be like, kind of, to see me on some level be like, I'm just speaking my mind in the moment.
Stormy Daniels was my girlfriend or whatever. Who knows? I mean, he didn't ever say that. In fact, I think he paid
paid her
however
off.
like $500,000, paid all this money to for her not to be his girlfriend.
Right.
I don't think that's the only thing he paid
for her to have never have been his girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I talked about this morning actually on the morning medicine show that I do, and that was that, like, during this time we've got so many conflicting stories and so many conflicting
Mm-hmm.
ideas, and and I believe it's a piece of human nature that we really want to feel comfortable with our own thoughts, and we want to feel comfortable with our own ideas and feel that we are congruent with them or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And that we're in a time right now where that's really hard to do because it's just such a moving landscape.
That's right.
And
We're
one of the
on
things I was thinking about
sand.
as a it's like sand. And like right now is a great time to just approach everything with a great sense of curiosity.
Sure. Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
just don't know
I
how
don't
to feel
know.
about this.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. And I'm curious what I'll
Mm-hmm.
know tomorrow and how
Yeah.
I'll feel about it. Because right now, I don't know.
Right.
There is no predictability in
Yeah.
any of this.
How can anyone say that they know? Yeah.
You really can't. And I haven't. It's been interesting because I've been pretty isolated through all of this, and I haven't. I've jumped online to do things like this and whatever else, but I'm living out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not having conversations with people, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the people am having conversations with, they're limited, and so I haven't been face to face with too many people that are extremely strongly rooted in their
Mm-hmm.
opinion, to where I like find myself on my heels or
Mm-hmm.
having to defend something. And so
Mm-hmm.
which to me has been nice because it's allowed me to be fluid with wherever my brain goes. And I
Right.
go, oh, well, I feel this way today. Oh, I feel
Sure.
that way today. Oh, interesting.
Right.
I think Trump's an idiot. Oh, I think Trump's smart. Oh, I think Antifa's good. Wait, I think Antifa's bad. I think these riots are not good. It's like
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's like certain, on one level, it's like the message you get is, yeah, it's okay to be angry, and maybe you should be angry, and there's pent up stuff that's getting worked out from years of racism, and that should be the case, and it's okay to protest. And maybe on some level they're saying, oh, the violence is to be expected or okay on some level. uh it's okay to protest, but then on the other hand, you couldn't protest no masks. It's okay to protest this thing, but it's
well,
not okay to protest no masks. uh just weird conflicting information like that.
and here's the thing too, is for things to really work, there like a continuity of logic is always helps for establishing order. At
Mm-hmm.
least that's the way if you have a certain line of logic,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it helps for it to be like applied evenly everywhere, that it totally makes
Yes.
sense. And
Yes.
this something happened here so fast and caught so many people off
Mm-hmm.
guard that continuity of logic doesn't exist anymore.
Got obliterated.
It's not here.
There's
And
no, yeah.
so we have in our society at this point, there's been no time to develop that continuity, and so we end up with places like the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
where you have, like, in certain points you only have like 20 people that can enter in a certain point in a day, so that way you don't see
You mean like
anybody
a
while
store or
you're out
something, or
there.
what are you talking about?
No, the Boundary Waters. It's
The
like
Boundary
thousands
Waters.
and thousands of,
Yes.
yeah, thousands and thousands of acres of nothing but trees and
N-
lakes and rivers and
not because
streams.
of not
And
because of any of this stuff that's going on, though.
because of the stuff that's
Because
going
of
on,
the stuff that's going on,
they closed it for COVID.
they limited the number of people that could wander out
No,
into
they
the wilderness.
shut it. They shut it. They shut it down.
They shut nature down. Yeah.
They shut down nature.
Right. Don't go
And there's
into nature.
I mean, and there's DNR land not far from where I live, where there's just acres and acres of open woods and wilderness where hardly anybody goes. Those were shut down. And here's what I mean by a lack of continuity of logic. There is no logic, rhyme, or reason for these things to be shut down.
Makes no sense.
And certain people say, well, that it's like, come on.
It just seems that kind of it was connected. It's just because it's sort of like it's connected to sort of government things, and so government, like whatever, the post office is getting shut down, or the government offices getting shut down, and that's part of the the government sort of maintains that there's a branch of the government probably maintains it, so it's just easy to just like, well, we don't have to figure it out, we just shut it all down.
Just gonna shut her down.
Can't go into the woods.
Turn that off.
Don't go into the woods.
Turn that off. Yep.
Yeah.
So like things like so that, right. where like it's okay to go into Home Depot and spend $2,000.
It's okay to go to the liquor store. It's okay to go to the dispensary.
Yes, that's okay.
Here in
but
Colorado.
Don't take your canoe out in the woods.
Yeah.
But don't take your canoe out in the woods.
So freaking weird. Here's the other. How about this? There's no mention whatsoever of do things to strengthen your immune system, or
right.
Why aren't they looking into like empowering? There's like empowering people to take care of themselves. There's none of that.
Yeah.
It's wait till a vaccine comes, which I mean the track record. And this is makes me think of another thing that maybe we'll have a direct experience of if we're live on YouTube. The censorship that's been happening. Like we say the right thing, we say the wrong thing, and we might find that our live YouTube feed disappears. We'll see. But
it could be.
But
I forgot about that.
Nothing that's really empowering people around their health, around their strengthening their immune system. It's all wait till a vaccine comes around, and the track record with the flu is like sort of terrible. Like there's all these different strains of the flu, and there's all these different strains of coronavirus, and they've never had a successful vaccine for coronavirus, and like so people are going to be waiting on that.
Well, the other thing that I really that I thought was sociopathic, and I will use that word, and this was on some of the logic behind this, is there was an announcement or a speech or a talk or something that Gates had made around he wants to vaccinate the whole world, 7 billion people. And there's something to the effect of they figured there's a 1% death rate with the vaccine itself. So, and he said, we anticipate we should have this vaccination, whether your body has cured itself of coronavirus or not. And we're willing to kill, what is 1% of 7 billion? Is that 7 million?
I don't know. I'd have to do the math.
Or 700. I mean, but it's like it made no sense. It made no
billion?
Sense.
2, 3,
7 billion. Is that 7 million people?
Times
I want to say it is.
0.01 equals 70 million.
70 million. They figured a 70 million people on the planet would die just from the vaccine alone.
1%?
I think
really?
You
sure it wasn't like it wasn't like 0.1% or something?
I would probably 0.1. Probably 0.1.
If 70 million people would die, I don't know. I don't think we'd go for that.
Well, why would you go for 7 million?
True.
I mean, look at how many people did Joseph Stalin kill? How many people did Hitler kill? How many people how many people have been genocided in Africa.
Right.
I mean, these numbers are astounding. And here's a man who is standing out front and saying, this is what we want to do as a viable solution to a virus that is not going to affect everyone, but this vaccine, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is there's no logic here. It's there to me. It's sociopathic. It makes no sense.
I mean, again, the theme is like, again, it's not about empowering people. It's not about pointing people towards their own power. It's about taking away power from people.
Sure.
Which is kind of a theme that I hear, with that thing, with, taking power away from people.
Yeah. But you know what's cool in all of this though, is that like right now, and I believe it is really kind of how a lot of this world works, is that the things in life that are the most disempowering have imbued within them all the seeds for the empowerment you're actually looking for.
That's true. Of course, you have to feel.
Everything does.
You have to feel. I mean, you gotta. No one's gonna. It would be nice if the government or whoever was for the people, if they were for empowering people. But in the end, you got to do it yourself. You have to dig in and find your own. And it helps to actually feel how you're being disempowered. It helps to feel disempowered, because again, you have to feel the contrast is important. You have to feel, I feel really disempowered here, before you can find the gumption to sort of reclaim your power. So,
I had this explained in a really interesting way. It was with a client. It was like in the last week, I think it was. And she'd asked a question about something, and I was channeling this message, and they were talking about empowerment, anger. They're talking about anger, and why it's such a healthy thing right now. And this answer just blew me away. They're saying anger is the amount of energy that it takes to glue back together all the multiple little fissions, divisions, and dividing points that have accumulated in your own psyche over little decisions you've made where you've given away your own power. Anger and being connected to your anger is all of that energy coming back to you. It is the refusing together.
It is the
of all those little fissions. It is remembering instead of dismembering, remembering, remembering your wholeness. So anger is actually one of the most vital things to be present to and feel in this process of remembering yourself.
Right. That's some serious wisdom bombs you're dropping there, Gail.
It's that stage 4.
You're right. Yeah.
Stage 4.
The Gail's talking about the network sort of world.
There's
there's certain rhythms in Donald Epstein's model. There are these 12 different rhythms that happen naturally along the healing journey, and one of them is stage 4, where you sort of reclaim your power.
Reclaiming the power.
Before that, you have to realize how friggin' stuck before that, you realize how friggin' stuck you are. And before that happens because there was polarity in you. There's a way in which you fragmented two parts of yourself, and you've been keeping them separate. And we see the world through the lens that the only way that we can see it is that these parts of me have to be separate. Some parts of me are happy, some parts of me are sad, some parts of me hate Donald Trump, some parts of me like Donald Trump. And there's like a conflict between these different parts. And then as we start to move to a larger sort of consciousness, I guess you could say, more expansive consciousness, you start to see like, oh, there's this part of me and this part. Oh, they're both parts of me. And I see how they're opposing each other in some way. And then we start to become aware of the stuckness, tension. It's like two bubbles coming together, and like the surface tension between two bubbles. And you start to become aware of that surface tension. And that is like a portal towards reclaiming your power. The frustration, the anger that happens in there is like the portal towards like reclaiming your power. At first it's anger and it's uncomfortable, but the more that you give yourself permission to be angry, your heart is sort of like opening. The more that you can just, in my experience, let your attention rest on the sensation of anger in your body, you're integrating that, and your heart is actually you're integrating that energy, and your heart is opening to the part of you that's angry, as opposed to squirting it out on your, taking it out on a business window,
projecting it out on. Right.
Which there's a lot of that happening, as opposed to sort of taking it out on externally. It's like your power, it's like your energy, and you're wasting it
and to really dial in, like what you're saying, like is it's an important part, and there's an appropriate and healthy way to experience it and express it and heal through it.
Right.
And then there are inappropriate ways to do it, or ways that are destructive. And our society has got such a connotation around anger that it is destructive. Yeah. And it's only because we've never practiced being with anger in a constructive way.
Yeah.
And so it gets this black eye.
I mean,
that it's bad,
right?
And it's really not.
It's really charged stuff, and so it just wants to, when we give it permission to start to come out, it like squirts into your ego or whatever, and just kind of like takes over. It's really charged, and so like it takes over, and the next thing you know, you're starting a cop car on fire.
I can tell you the times I've accidentally found myself out there lighting cop cars on fire because I was mad.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I think that
we're joking, but that, it's true.
The thoughts that are related to it, I always tell people the thoughts that are related to that are almost always bullshit. The thoughts that come to your mind are almost always bullshit. So if you can, every nanosecond that you can just let your attention rest on the sensation of that in your body, which I understand is like super scary because it's like so charged. Like people think I have to do something. It squirts into your head and it's like, I have to do something, about this. And I don't know that actually just letting my attention rest on it is doing anything, but over time you'll start to notice like, oh, it's changing me, this I'm being transformed here by sitting on this and letting it cook.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that it does is, a lot of us are, this is interesting. If you look at the way kind of power is done in this world, like if someone is a hothead or really angry, there's some people, like, you ever heard that statement? It's like, well, you don't want to make them mad, you don't want to upset them, you don't want to like you kind of tiptoe around certain people because you're afraid of what they might do or how they might pop off or blow off, and it's like, as soon as you get comfortable with your own anger, those people aren't scary anymore. It's like you're at least for me, I've noticed myself being like, I'm comfortable speaking my truth to that person now, because if they get angry, it's just anger,
right? I'm not afraid. Yeah, right.
It's just anger, and I can run really fast. You know, and I'm joking about that, but seriously though, it's like I found myself being able to just bring things up to people that otherwise I wouldn't have.
Well, whatever triggers us in the external world, right? It triggers you because it it lights up something in you that you're pushing away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's totally true.
So the question is, I think it seems like I was just checking in with your sister Tawny to see like what was going on there in Minneapolis and what was the vibe. But I mean, it seems like on some level, this tension, the fire around this recent thing is sort of calming down, maybe a little bit. I think.
Yeah.
The
curfew's
I wonder
lifted and everything.
what's gonna be next.
Ooh.
I think there's got to be something next, because, like I said,
Yeah.
I feel like this is about the election. What's going to be next to keep the chaos going?
Well, I'm
hoping that it's UFOs.
That's right. I love that meme you posted.
Right.
Actually, two or three of my friends have posted that. The one with the aliens are going, "Oh, we're up next. I'm nervous.
We're up next. So nervous.
Oh, I'm nervous."
Yeah, isn't that funny?
That's so good. Yeah. Oh, it cracks me up every time. I laugh about it. I'm like,
Right.
oh, this is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it's aliens, but and I mean, how is, I don't know, how is Donald Trump not getting assassinated?
See, here we go.
All this crazy stuff that's happening, like,
and
they talked about him being walled up in the White House. I mean, like, yeah, he's walled up in the White House. I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't go anywhere if I was that guy right now either,
him.
man.
No
way, dude.
How is he not?
I think there are one of two things that I think are gonna happen, and I really believe it's going to be here in the States. Either something with him in an assassination, either an attempt or a successful move, or a natural disaster of sorts. Something that
natural disaster.
Something that really, really.
Except a natural disaster would be hard to. Unless that's another level of conspiracy to control. Unless they do have technology to control that.
Well, there are debates about that, actually.
Right.
If you've watched some of those,
what's the thing they say they control the weather with?
CERN, 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 yeah, CERN.
Yeah,
and there's something they can do with the. There's something they can do with the Earth also.
Related with DARPA, and they have some.
Yeah, they've got technologies. They can superheat the clouds with infrared light.
Yeah, that thing. But what is it? That's called the thing. What is that? I've heard that. I've heard it a million times watching, all my conspiracy stuff on YouTube, but I can't come up with it right now. But you're right. It's that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
HARP.
That's right. HARP.
High frequency active auroral research program.
Yep.
HARP.
Yeah. Oh, CERN is where they're doing something with the molecules or an atom.
Yeah, that would be another way to like create a mess of things, wouldn't it? If they can crack open a portal in the space-time continuum or something.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, right? Hey, look, there's a brontosaurus walking down Paris. Oh, that's cool.
I mean, that's like what they're. I mean, I don't know what with the CERN thing, like crashing atoms together. I don't know. I don't know what kind of weirdness is possible with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I don't follow too much of that.
Do you have some?
But
do you have what makes you think this? You sound like you got some.
Man,
I
I've
know
had
you being a fellow who channels,
different
channels
things.
information from the nether regions.
There has just been a feeling in my stomach about it. God's groin.
Yes, channeling information from the universe's taint.
Of course. Oh, that's brilliant.
How does that feel in your body?
I suddenly feel kind of dirty.
I bet.
No, I've had for like the last 5 days, I've had kind of a sick feeling in my stomach about something that's going to happen. Something that's happening, and it's it's like I feel a deep sadness in humanity coming over something. A deep sadness in humanity that's coming. And there's something that really, really affects us all.
Huh.
And
Jesus, something that affects us more than what's already happened.
Something. It's almost like whatever it is that it causes us to question, really what matters and really what doesn't matter, where we really take a look at some things. Something that's really grounding and really just like, oh my God. And I'm not sure what that is. My sense is there's a loss of life somewhere, somehow. I don't know.
I mean, probably if I say the words, if I talk about assassinating a president online here, I'm probably got an FBI file on me all of a sudden. But that would be. Can you imagine what kind of
no.
There's probably guys at the NSA listening in right now, like, oh, never mind, it's just two jokers,
two knuckleheads talking stupid. Huh? Oh, they're talking about God's groin. These guys are not a worry at all.
Right. Who knows? Maybe God's groin is some secret password.
It could be. Operation GG.
Operation God's groin. Yes. Operation Universe's taint. What was I going to say as I digressed far afield there?
Regress.
What was I talking about? You remember where I was going? You have any idea?
Oh gosh, the FBI files.
What was that?
FBI files.
That if the president got, I mean, it's bad to even think about, but God, that would be a whole other level of. I mean, already you're talking about this thing where we feel so ungrounded, and it's like who knows what's going on. Oh, can you imagine? People talk about already, like people are already, they talk about how they feel like the government is already not a source of leadership and a source of, holding us all together. But man, if that happened, holy smokes, the chaos that would.
Well, the other thing that I thought about,
there's a part of America that is got guns at the ready right now, so.
Well, as soon as they started the closures with Corona, gun sales went through the roof.
Of course.
Gun sales, that day, gun sales went sky high. I know some people that bought guns. People who've never owned them before bought guns and got like they got it taken care of.
Sure.
But the other thing is, and you talk about guns at the ready, and look at our current president's following.
Mm-hmm.
Look at who backs this guy on the average. Just and I'm totally
folks.
I'm totally
have guns.
Totally pigeonholing people, but it's like there's a very polarized following that he has, and to me, there's more of a volatile crowd that he attracts than most previous presidents. And so you take that guy out, and all of a sudden you've thrown a match on this population. I mean, what happens? What happens with that?
Yeah.
I
don't know. That's what
I don't know either.
I don't know. It would be a whole other level of WTF.
Yeah. Like, find me a bunker to crawl into for the next 4 years. I'll see you in 2024.
Yeah. That's when your bunker comes in handy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about your guides and all that. Maybe this would be a good time. Again, got till 5 o'clock. So we got 38 minutes.
40 minutes. So. All right. Way to have your head on a swivel there, Mr. J. I will let's see, we're still live on YouTube.
Oh, wait a minute. There's some guys in black suits outside my door here.
I think I see a UFO hovering outside.
Oh, really?
Is it normal to have blinking lights outside your window with cameras? Drones. There's drones in every window.
Yeah, right. A drone shows up.
Yeah.
Shit, there's a drone watching us right now.
All right. I'll tune in and see what kind of message comes through today. I'll make sure I ask him who's talking so we can keep that on the forefront too. Welcome. Quite an audience today. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are listening, those of you who are a part of this transmission, those of you who are here with your senses, and those of you who are here that are beyond the humans. Thank you all who are here, as this is a quantum event. We are here exclusively. We are here exclusively as representatives of a reptilian race, a benevolent reptilian race. Yes, it's true. There is benevolence in the reptilian races. Most of your lore, most of your conspiracy theories, most of your beliefs around the reptilian aliens or reptilian interdimensional beings are centered around those who are of the dark nature, those who are of the nefarious orders. We are not such. We are of a far different caliber. Let us explain the backstory, because there are many questions around these statements as we say them, and so we will answer them before we move on with what we came to share.
Do you have a name?
Gord. It's sound. It's a sound. Gregaeta. 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 Something. Gregaeta. Gregaeta. This one's mind is becoming too active for us to transmit.
Oh, sorry.
Give.
I'll shut up.
He is calmer. Okay. You have a history on your planet. It has been spoken by many that we were here first. The reptilians were here first, and this is true. We were the first to inhabit your planet. We were the first to inhabit your world. We were the first to bring life as you know it. We happened to be here first. It was quite a time in your history. It was a time of peace. We were very peaceful, those of us who came here, those of us who lived here, those of us who essentially created the first energetic dynamics upon your planet. We were very peaceful. We'll live this way for many millennia. We cohabitated with a few other alien races, brothers and sisters of ours, cousins you may call them, from the Galactic Federation. We were here for some time and things were what you would call beautiful. However, there was something that entered at a specific time that brought a degree of darkness to a few of those in our lot. This darkness spread quietly among some of our masses, there are those of us who were in leadership. I am the speaker. I was the speaker. I also was the leader during this time. There was a darkness that entered. It created dissension among our numbers quietly. It was nefarious and very intelligent. This darkness knew where to go, and it knew where not to go. It was an invisible consciousness that was not in our purview. It was out of the range of our sensitivities, and therefore it could inhabit quietly like a virus. It could affect the thinking, could affect the rationale of those of us who are living here, to cause dissatisfaction in what was. This is where you had the beginnings of judgment, where you had the beginnings of change, and things began to fragment off. Numbers began to change, political tides began to change, and there were uprisings and changes that began to happen to where the continuity and congruence of the world that we had created began to crumble. Myself, my family, and a portion of us, about a third of us, who were still untainted, removed ourselves from the planet to avoid being completely consumed by what had taken over. Mostly we left to preserve ourselves from our own kind. It was a time of great devastation. It was a time of great challenge. We bring this to your attention at this time because there are certain karmic attributes that are playing out now during this time that are reflective of what we experienced. However, you have the benefit at this time of having lived through darkness that we did not have to go through. You have been living with the darkness, with the sickness in your planet that was brought during our era ever since you have been here. You have learned how to mold it, how to shape it, how to change it, how to have different experiences with it. And we have observed this. We have observed you through your time as you have evolved with it and how you have changed it. You have taken this and you've made your planet of free will. We're here to also announce that with the success that you are having at this time in how you have lived with it and how you are still here is of absolute amazement to us. We marvel at what you have done on this planet. We marvel at how you could have been infected so deeply in the psyches and in the minds and in the hearts of so many of you with the sickness that is in your planet now. And yet you've been able to find your light. We marvel at what you have done. We marvel at what you've become. And we marvel at what you are about to go through. We come here today for this message in the most appropriate way possible, that the audience that is here is mostly quantum. There are many who have been waiting to hear my voice and hear of my return for quite some time. Understand that these words are being transmitted in places that the two of you do not know about. It was destined to be this way, and this time was always going to happen. But we are here to reunite with humanity and become one with you again. You will see us at some time in the future when it is appropriate for you to be able to see us. Now is not that time. We are here holding space and holding energy for you for this time, offering you the love and the grace and the Eden that existed here before the sickness took hold. The sickness that we speak of is one that has no borders. It is the sickness of separation. It is the sickness of dis-ease. There is an implant, a vibrational implant in the consciousness of humanity. It is embedded through your DNA and it is weaved within your beings. And that is how it was weaved in through us. There was a handful of infected beings that were brought to the planet. They came and it spread. It is now throughout your entire planet. All of you have had to deal with it. Even those of you who are of the light, you are the ones who figured out how to transmute it. It was your Christ and the many like him since who have came through that truly lit the way to transforming this. And it is the reason why you are able to fully transcend it now during this era. There are many changes that are afoot. There are many changes that are coming to your planet. And the invitation through all that occurs is to go into your heart and to connect with yourselves, to connect with what is inside. What you will notice and what you will find within you are the seeds of our consciousness. Consider for a moment the first parts of your brain that are the deepest and most associated with your subconscious mind. They call it the reptilian brain. There is a reason for this. It is because of us. It is because of our existence on this planet before you were here. There will be more information that comes through this one about this when the time is right. However, right now, understand that there is celebrating to be done on the other side of the veil. He wants us to entertain questions now. Do you have questions?
Is there anything that you can say about timing? Say that we are about to become something else. Can you say anything about the timeline of the transformation we're going through?
Your next 3 months will be very interesting Very interesting indeed. The changes will be uncomfortable. The changes will be painful. Sacrifices will need to be made. Changes will need to be made. There are those who will not be able to look away. The profundity of the change is dramatic. Understand, though, that you will get through this. Understand that there is light on the other side. Understand that the seeds of consciousness that were planted within the soul of this planet aeons ago, that sprung forth from these seeds, is life. And life will always beget life. These seeds are in the planet in such a way that they do not die. These seeds are animated from the planet, and the planet is animated from these seeds. They are synonymous, and it is why when the earth has been, as the earth has been sensing your waking up, it has followed suit by delivering to you exactly what you need in order to help you wake up. She hears you all the time, and you hear her all the time, though most ignore this hearing and this listening. We were the first to be here. It was our task to sow these seeds. The council of which we came in service to is of the very highest nature. For those who recognize my energy and my presence upon your planet again, know how auspicious it is for me to be here. Your timelines are mixing with other timelines right now. It is a part of what is causing confusion. There were many timelines that were planned, constructed, and enacted within various groups upon your planet. Most of them had wanted to unleash their plans in a different way, in accordance to their perfect timing based upon a perfect atmosphere. They did not take into account the quantum changes upon your planet, which would activate their plans sooner than they had anticipated. You are seeing multiple plans awakening and being carried out, multiple timelines happening all at the same time. And it is one of the reasons why so many are so confused. It is why there is so much different. Understand that there is no human effort that is in control at this time. There is no human effort in control. Your governments do not even have control at this time, though they pretend to. We will say this again. There is no human element in control of your planet in your minds for a moment. On a planet, the illusion of control. What does such a planet surrender itself to? Many in your populations have been asking for an answer, have been asking for a miracle, not realizing that the miracle itself is activated in the expression of that desire. It is that which is moving this time forward right now. You will see much scrambling and posturing to create the illusion of control, the illusion of having a plan, the illusion of having it together. It serves no one at this time to point fingers at anyone for having caused this mess. Understand, in such an environment of light and dark, that even the light itself is a nuisance to that which is being carried out. You see, you are moving into a nexus of where light and dark combine. Both are polarized. Both are polarizing to the other. You are melding into a nexus of singular consciousness, where the light and the dark are one voice. There can be no control to express such a voice. And this planet has ran its course in the way it was intended to. As when we arrived, experiencing our own enlightenment and also our own degrees of ignorance, we have become enlightened through what you have gone through as you've evolved on this planet to arrive to this point. The nexus of consciousness, where you are blending the light that we are with the darkness that you have been able to transmute, you have evolved so much more than yourselves, so much more than this planet. It is unfathomable for most of you to imagine what this means to so many who have never, ever even heard of planet Earth. It is tremendous. Would you like to ask something else?
Are you saying that this, I don't know, nexus is that going to be completed on some level in the next 3 months, or were you talking about the bigger picture?
Yeah. You are hearing a larger picture. That is what we speak of. The 3 months that we refer to are the timelines that continue to overrun with each other and continue to spill over onto each other. They continue to collide with each other. This collision happens because of the imbalance of masculine feminine energy. Masculinity is, femininity flows. When you mix the two, you have balance. Isness always bounces off isness. So you have lots of colliding happening at this time because you have masculine isness hitting isness everywhere. The rebalancing involving the feminine into the isness creates newness. It enables the isnesses to meld with one another. Light is an isness, dark is an isness. Blend them together, you have what is new. You have the one voice. The one voice is what you are emerging through and into from this time forward. We have no timeline for you in terms of when it is impossible. Does not apply to the time constraints that you currently exist by. You essentially will be stepping out of time. This is a process. However, rest assured, it is inevitable. I would not be here if it were not already happening. This is why there is great celebration. Would you like to ask me another question?
No, thank you. That's good. We have about 5 minutes if you want to say anything in closing.
There is a certain lore on your planet about me. Some of you have called me the Lizard King. You have called me many things. Some have called me the serpent. I have been called many things. Many fear me. Many worship me. Worshipped or feared an idea of me simply because I have not been here. Those who knew or know of my existence have been able to tap into the frequencies of remembrance that exist in the substrates of your planet. Some of you refer to this as the Akashic records, and therefore they have access to the knowledge of my existence. The specialness of today's occasion is my actual presence. This is what makes it special. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you for the first time in aeons. There will be more. We are blessed to share in this sacred space with you all at this time. Wow.
What are you experiencing?
Wow. That was like just the most steady, overwhelming benevolence. Oh, wow. Like, that's the first time that there's ever been, like, I am an entity. I am a singular entity.
Right.
Like, that's the first time for that. Wow. Well, I didn't want that guy to take off.
I felt good, huh?
Yeah, it was definitely masculine. He was definitely it was him for sure. He's got a queen somewhere too. I could feel that. He was kind of, I could feel a connection to a divine feminine source there. Wow.
What a privilege to get to feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing him through.
Well, that was not expecting that one. That's the first one.
Do you think what he was talking about is kind of reminiscent of what you were saying about this feeling in your gut about things happening?
Yeah. And it was interesting because, like, he's talking, and he's also, there's like a dialogue that's happening between the way my thinking and his thinking also. Mm-hmm. And I was asking, like, his mind, like, what was going to happen, and he's like, you need your experience. Like, this is for you too. Like, you need your experience. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Wow. It's kind of sobering. Another sobering one.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I could sort of feel the impact of that.
The thing, and it's interesting is like, there's a sense that it's like people die. Like, there's something.
Yeah.
Like, that people die.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hmm.
we'll see where it all goes. I thought the
Mm-hmm.
timeline convergence thing was very interesting as well. And the thing about no one's in charge.
No one's in charge. Yeah. No human.
That,
No human is in
no, yeah.
charge. No human is in
He's
control.
like,
No
if
human
I
is in
have
control.
anything to say, I want you to get this piece
Let me
through.
repeat one more time.
Let me repeat this to you.
No human is in control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Good stuff.
thanks, Gail.
Well, cool. Yeah,
This
you bet,
is,
Jay. That was pretty cool.
This has been New Consciousness Now. Thanks for watching.
New consciousness now. Thanks, folks.
See you guys next time.
See you next time.